I would like to do is just do a short interview
Sure.
with you.
Happy to.
And first of all, tell us a little bit about Dow right now. I think you are sort
We're
of...
very at a quite an
Yeah.
interesting
Yes,
inflection
yeah,
point time
yeah.
because, as you probably know, Dow and DuPont merged together.
Mhm.
So now we're in the process of creating these three new companies.
Right.
Dow will be the first one to be separate and distinct, and there's a lot of legal words for it. But so the Dow that's 122 years old will be very similar to the new Dow, which in April of 2019 will launch the new company. But it's also very exciting because there will be an opportunity for us to be a brand new company. So 120 years old, but be kind of reborn and
I see.
rejuvenated as a brand new company. We have a new kind of leadership team. Our chairman and CEO of many years, 15 years almost, who Andrew Livers has retired July 1. So we have a new CEO who's very excited about getting the new company started. And so I think it's a great time for everyone to, I think a little bit like what we have talked about doing is anytime you have a new company,
Yes.
you have opportunity to select the things that you really like
Yes.
about what you do, and maybe some of the things that that you have done or the company is doing. And so he's really launched a new platform about, of course, safety and ethics, and sustainability, business success, but also diversity and inclusion is one of his 5 business platforms. There are 5 principles that he started this new company. And so I think everyone is kind of excited about being part of something new and keeping many of the things from the old, but hopefully starting new things from the beginning. So
Great.
we're looking forward to it.
It's been, I think the announcement of merger was made quite a while ago.
Yeah, it's been a long process.
Right, yeah,
Some
so-
of that is just taking, I think, two very iconic historic companies and moving them together, and then there's a long regulatory process. And then there's finally got that approved, the regulatory process, and we announced in this November of 2015. So if you count November 2015 to launch of the new company's second quarter of 2019, long process.
Wow.
So again, hopefully that pent-up energy and demand will stay. And so it has been a long kind of, I think longer maybe than most people expect.
Is that right?
But the good part about that is that you hear this from the leadership, and I tell our team this all the time. At the time where all of this has been going on,
Yes.
and it's a significant amount of work, the company has continued to be very successful. Our chairman and CEO is very proud of the fact that I think we now have 22 quarters of continuous earning growth.
Great.
So while you have a lot of people a number of people remain focused on the key parts, which is the people and the environment and safety and the business success. So
I see.
that part has been kind of fulfilling to say,
It
look,
is.
if we're able to do all these things and continue to meet all of those goals, I think it speaks well of everyone.
That's very significant, I would
Yes.
say. Yes. I mean, just going through this transformation takes a
Long
lot
time,
of your
yes,
energy
right.
and time and so forth. So it's difficult to start with. So if you keep on successful route.
I think the people,
That's
like I
really
said,
good.
the old saying is, if you want something done, ask a busy person, right?
Uh-huh.
So we say, if you want something done, ask a Dow person,
I
because
see, I
they're very good at saying, okay, if the boss tells me we need to get all this done by the end of the year, nobody comes back and says, oh, that's too much, I can't do it. They're, okay, let's go do this. And
I
they're
see.
very good at delivery of those
Great.
milestones. So that's good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been here?
So this is my
Yeah.
7th year in Tokyo,
Right.
34th year at Dow. So I graduated from law school in May of I was a summer intern at Dow in 1984, before many of the people that are here now were born. And I was offered a job after I graduated. And so I graduated, I think, on a Saturday or Sunday and started work on a Monday.
Wow.
And Midland, Dow is a very company-oriented town. I was from that area, And like many people, I never envisioned that I would ever be part of something like that. I took it because it was a great place to work. I had a very enjoyable summer with a boss that I identified with, fantastic boss, great lawyer. And I said, I'll go do this. I could be close to home. I'll go do this. And, you know, I've been very fortunate because every time I've kind of thought, you know, maybe I'll try, go do something else, the company has come back and said, well, why don't you move to Texas? Or why don't you and do this? Why don't you move to Hong Kong and do this? Why don't you move to Tokyo and do this? So there's been, I feel like I've had many careers within Davos.
I see.
So every time where maybe I thought that I was getting, you know, maybe I didn't have the same passion and energy, somebody brought me into their office and said, hey, we want you to go and do something. And I said, are you sure? Yeah. It's typical, right?
Yeah.
And so I've always believed in the idea that the company gave me a lot of responsibility and a lot of autonomy and a lot of authority. It put me in roles that were very challenging, sometimes maybe more than I thought that I was capable of doing. But that's really kind of the Dow culture. And they all said, you're going to do great, and kind of pushed you out the door and said, go do that.
I see.
And so I think the company's philosophy, maybe because it's still kind of a family culture, it's still based in a town of a large company, a very small town. So maybe some of that Midwest values and Midwest culture, I always felt like there was a lot of support that I could go do this. And I always felt like that I knew that if the leadership was supporting me, that you didn't have so much fear of what if I make a mistake, because you knew. So that's always been my philosophy in any role that I've had where I've managed people or larger groups of people, is to say that you can do this, operate within the parameters of the company in terms of safety and ethics and the culture, and you're going to do great. Yes, you'll make mistakes, and yes, but you're going to be successful. So just go out there and give it your 100% best, and then come back, and then the next day go out and try to do a little better each day.
Right.
And that's why I like some of these sessions that you've done, is that I think sometimes I wonder at Dow, maybe there's times at Dow when we can be a little bit insular because we're still, you know, again, maybe sometimes we focus too much internally. That's why I think these sessions are good for Dow people to go out and meet, interact with non-Dow people, because we spend a lot of time internally focused, customer focused, but maybe not enough time talking to others about. And I think it's good that people kind of get a frame of reference. And the other part that I've enjoyed, about these sessions, and maybe I'm getting ahead of the interview, is that Japan is a very unique culture, and I respect all of the Japan culture. I respect all of the work ethic and the loyalty and the approach, the professionalism and the diligence. But it's certainly a different culture than I would say a American culture, where you're willing to raise questions. It doesn't matter if it's the boss. You can say to the boss, are you sure that's the right idea? What if we do it this way? So to me, it's been a great opportunity here to try, I say, maybe take some of the best cultural values that the Dow has and Western companies have, and then maybe blend them with the best parts of the Japanese culture, which is make sure people feel comfortable to raise their hand and ask questions. Make sure people feel comfortable talking about what their goals are, what they want in their career, what motivates them. And at the same time, I've said, and I like these sessions too, that I was recently interviewed in the Japan Times page, and I said, Dow does not want you to spend your entire life, 16 hours a day, at your desk. Get involved in the community. Spend time with your family. Have passions and pursuits. If you like to read books, write papers. Be involved in things that are a holistic approach to, if you are if your wife or a partner or a spouse is unhappy because you're always at work, you're not going to be successful at work. You're going to be miserable at work over
Right.
time, right? Or if you feel guilty because you're missing your kids' soccer games, or you're, you know, and so we really encourage people to participate in community events and educational
I
events
see.
and life events. So we want them to feel good and productive when they're at work, and we also want them to, if something is going on at home, why would they miss that? Because those opportunities are,
Right.
you know, once in a lifetime.
Yes.
So go watch your kid's soccer game, go to the piano recital, get involved in, if you have an interest, if you like to read, go to the schools and read or teach language, and the company will say to you, go do that. We want, so events like this are important for, I like to talk about, talking about Dow culture, because I think it's good for us to talk about, and it's good for other people to realize that there's a whole world outside of
Yeah.
Dow.
I
And
see.
so young, old, everybody can be a continuous
Right.
learner on what they're doing. So these
Right.
types of opportunities and people like yourself, there's always new ways to do things better, right? It doesn't matter if even if you've been at Dow 30, our CEO just retired 43 years with the company. He said he learned every day. He
That's
tried
great.
new
Yeah.
things every day.
I see.
He participated in so many events because he was like, you know, I want to go meet with the guys from, you know, Google. I want to go meet with the guys from Uber. I want to talk to people, how they're organized, what are they doing differently. And so these types of events, I think,